Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review. Going to talk about the 1968 film Danger, Diabolik in its 4K edition. This is a movie I've heard about a lot. It's very influential. Roman Coppola, Edgar Wright, they dropped this movie a lot as being an inspiration for some of the things they've done. And after seeing the movie, I totally get it. The main reason I picked up this 1968 Italian film was that I like Mario Bava, and I've kind of gotten into Italian horror cinema and stuff like that. And I watched his Planet of the Vampires recently and really enjoyed it for what it was, and the fact that it really has a very modern twist to the whole film. But anyway, this pops up, and there's a new 4K edition that's actually pretty cheap. The store that I like a lot, the Atomic Movie Store, had some in but sold out of it, and so I signed up to get a email when they got back in stock, and they did, and I ordered it with something else, and they came in the other day. And I've got 3 new movies I've never seen to watch. They're all classics, and this was the first one. So like I said, I picked it up because Mario Bava is a very visual director. He's became a master of horror cinema, but he was doing some other things at the time. And this is a Dino De Laurentiis production. This is one of his early films that he was producing actually to be a companion piece with the other movie he was making at the time, Barbarella. So if you like Barbarella, you're going to probably like this one. They were produced by the same guy. They utilized some of the same actors. Some of the same behind-the-scenes stuff was going on to get these films made. But to talk about this one, it's an early superhero film. It's based on an Italian comic book. They're actually making some modern movies. Director Christopher Gans and Monica Bertolucci was going to try and get this off the ground about 5 years ago, and that didn't happen. But now there are some new Italian productions coming out, or at least I don't know if they actually went into production, but there's trailers on the 4K for them, so maybe they have been made. Anyway, this is basically style over substance. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes has it about 65%, but it is considered a classic, and I see why. All right, our hero doesn't talk for the first 30 minutes. Our hero is really a bad guy. Diabolik is one of those anti-heroes. He goes up against the police, but usually corrupt police, and he steals things. He's a thief. He's a master thief. Like, nobody can catch him. And so the very opening of the movie is they're transporting stuff, and I don't want to give anything away, figures out a way to steal things that should have been impossible to steal, makes off with it, $10 million it is, and then makes love to his partner on top of the money. That's the main reason that Catherine Deneuve is not in the movie. She objected to some of the nudity that was in the film, but honestly, the movie carries a PG-13 rating currently, and you don't see anything. Yes, there's several parts of the movie where Eva, his partner, is naked, like in the shower, but it'll have a carefully placed, blurry piece of glass or something, or like when they're rolling around in the money. They're both obviously naked, but you don't see anything. It's more covered up. They've even plastered some money to her butt in one scene, so the money doesn't get out of the way. So I don't know why Catherine Deneuve had a problem with that. She did nudity in other films, but anyway, it was probably some other things involved. It stars John Philip Law, who is also in Barbarella, and this guy has the look of a superhero. This is kind of almost a James Bond or an anti-James Bond thing because he's got all sorts of gadgets. He's got an incredible layer. It's all incredibly well done. The best thing I can say about the movie is it's style over substance, and it's kind of like a long, very colorful music video. The main character doesn't speak for the first 30 minutes. We get that long setup with and the way it's filmed, there's a great sense of depth. The lenses used, what they film these vehicles coming into the police area where they're loading up the $10 million, and it's all done like comic book panes. There are many times in the movie where he shoots through like one of those old 60s bookshelf things that you would have in your living room that have various things on it, but it would also be a divider between rooms. So he would shoot that on the other side so that some of the people's faces would be in the panels like a comic book. It was really visually stunning film. And Kino Lorber has put out a new 4K edition, remastered from the original 4K elements, and looks fantastic. It's got a stereo soundtrack that was fine. It's matrixed into 5.1. Decent. It's mostly front-loaded, but there was some surround sound stuff to it, mostly music and just ambiance, if you will. And there's several great set pieces, some action pieces. There are a lot of special effects in the film. I didn't expect that. There's a lot of forced perspective, some miniature scenes, some scene extension things, stuff that they really weren't doing in 1968, very rarely, and not as well. Maybe the James Bond movies and a few others were, but it's a very interesting time capsule of a film. Is it a good movie? Well, it's fine. I mean, it's an interesting story about this basically superhero. And like I said, he's kind of an anti-hero. When they discover that he's made off with the $10 million from the supposedly corrupt police agencies, he just laughs. And it's this cartoonish laugh, and it goes into the main credits. And the credits alone push the HDR of your 4K picture. It really looks spectacular. What HDR does for the colors, and I didn't watch the Blu-ray, I did notice watching the trailers and stuff, the colors certainly don't pop like they do on the 4K. It doesn't look unnatural, and there is some film grain. This is a 1968 film and probably not the biggest budget, but they were making a pretty film here, and it very much is. Like, again, the way the things were shot, the colors, the sets, the forced perspective stuff, how he gets into the layer is very interesting. His layer itself, how they show you the size of it without, that it's not really what you're looking at, but it's done so incredibly artistically well. It looks fantastic. Everything about it. The action scenes, John Philip Law was obviously the guy to play this role because he doesn't have to talk for a lot of it. A lot of it is just his eyes, his eyebrows, and they have a great new interview on the 4K with him that was done recently where he talked about to get the role, he went into the audition with Dino De Laurentiis, and he basically put some mascara on his eyebrows because he knew the comic, and he wanted to be that character, and it's all about the eyebrows because a lot of the movie he wears a mask with these big eye cutouts where basically the eyebrows and the eyes are all you see, maybe his upper cheekbones. And so when he went in like that, Dino De Laurentiis said instantly that he's the guy. And since they had already cast him in Barbarella, well, there you go. He looks great. His co-star, Mel, what was her name? Marissa Mel. I've seen her in other things. Like I said earlier, Catherine Deneuve was supposed to play the role, but she didn't. She's a tall, statuesque blonde who didn't mind wearing very little clothing to no clothing, which fits in with the vibe of the film. Ennio Morricone did the soundtrack, that guy. But he did a 60s funky psychedelic soundtrack that you just got to hear. That kind of stuff is going on, and crazy trumpet things, and the soundtrack is great, kitschy. The movie is colorful and over the top. There's a lot of long scenes of them making love on money that they've stolen, that kind of stuff. It's very visual in that respect, and obviously some current movies have paid homage to very particular scenes in this movie. Also, didn't know this, kind of could have put it together, but should have, I guess. Beastie Boys put out a video several years ago where they used footage from the movie. In the movie, like they did back in the day, they would shoot, the stuntman doing certain things and would cut back to the actors in the car or climbing the thing or whatever. Well, they used the footage of the stuntmen, but then when it cut back, it was the members of Beastie Boys. And if you haven't seen Body Move in the video, the remix version, it has a lot of Danger Diabolik in it. And they actually put the video on the 4K and have Adam talking during some of the making of and about the fact that they wanted to use that kind of stuff. It was very interesting how it worked, and it really did work, and it does look great. For a music video, it looks like the movie. It looks really good. So anyway, long story short, there's some good extras on here. There's a long documentary. There's some interviews with the star, some of the people still living. There's some old interview stuff with Dino De Laurentiis. All in all, it's a great package for this movie and not horribly expensive. I think it's right around $25-26. It's in 4K, originally mastered. Dolby Vision really made a difference in the movie. Super colorful. Had a lot of fun with it. Wouldn't say it's everybody's favorite kind of movie. Like I said, it's about 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. But if you're looking for this kind of thing, kind of a anti-James Bond action style over substance movie from the late 60s and want to see what else Mario Bava was up to when he wasn't making horror movies, this is very interesting and very much a fun thing to have in the collection. So check it out. Kino Lorber's put this out in 4K. It's available in the U.S., easy to get, not very expensive. Great package, great artwork. Wish there was more extras, but there's also some commentaries, and John Philip Law, the star, does one of the commentaries. Some also movie experts do some of the commentaries. So very interesting package to dig into. I can't wait to watch it again with one of the commentaries. Check out Danger Diabolik. It's available now. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts are on the way. Have a spectacular day, and thank you so much for listening.